Hello, and welcome to another episode of Poetry FM 101. This is my favorite corner in the world, and now it can be yours too. Hello, and welcome back to another episode. Alright, so you know the drill by now. 2 days back, you heard the audio podcast of my guest for this week, and you're probably wondering, who is this person? Well, it's time to put that mystery to rest. And with me in the studio, I have, ladies and gentlemen, it's with pleasure that I introduce you to Miss Parinitha M.
Hi.
Parinitha, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for, agreeing to grace my podcast with your presence and your poetry.
Thank you
And
so
we're
much.
really looking forward to getting to know you a little bit more face to face, right?
Yes.
But before we do, could you start off by reciting one of your favorite works for us in person?
Favorite? But I can read you one that made me cry.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I mean, a lot of my poetry makes me cry, but I think this one sticks out. So it's called Stuck in a Maze. And the more you ran, the bigger it grew. The more you climbed, the higher it rose. The more you dug, the deeper it rooted. The more you broke, the stronger it stayed. The more you learnt its ways, the trickier it got. The map given to you is outdated. You tried it all and more. Tearing it to bits, you knew you had to find another way. You asked the walls what they want to teach you. You closed your eyes and listened. You shifted its ways like never before. The path illuminated for you. The walls realigned for you. The maze bowed down to you.
Wow. Okay. I love that that line where towards the end it started. At least I felt it was starting to get more positive and hopeful.
Yeah.
And more empowering.
Yeah.
Then you started
Yes.
off on like a grim note, right?
Yeah.
So that begs the question: is this the usual flow of your poetry?
Yes.
Like you introduce a topic, you introduce the elements of that, but then towards the end it gets more empowering.
Yes.
Okay,
It
good.
actually gets very hopeful, and I think mostly my poetry is about resilience.
Resilience, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I noticed that pattern because as I heard you recite your poem, it struck me that these are the similar kind of poems that I write too, right? I start off on a very heartbreaking note. And then towards the end, it's all hopeful. I like, yes, the
Yeah.
sun is going to rise again tomorrow and I'm going to soar. Okay, that's good.
Absolutely.
But now, how about we have you introduce yourself to the audience so that they get to know who this person is, right? Like there was a lot of enigma that was building up over the audio podcast, but let's have it from you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Parinitha. My God, I sound like how I sound in my podcast. I'm actually a fashion designer, but I started writing poetry last year because of a challenge to write 21 poems in 21 days. And I just jumped at it. And I had no idea that I would be in such flow. And this is what came out of it. So I guess this is a journey I'm going to stick to for a while. Let's see where it takes me. It's got me here, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I like that you say it's got me here. Like this is something to aspire to my podcast. I hope.
Why not?
All right. So, well, that's how you discovered your poetry. And I think it would have been a wonderful discovery, right? Like you start off as a challenge, not really sure what's going to come out of it, but then you realize, oh my God, there's like this side of me, this dimension of me that I never knew existed.
Absolutely.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's what my guest is, a poet who realized her poetry through a challenge. And I think this is saying something to all of you, right? So if there's something challenging in life that you're not particularly, how do I say, interested or too keen on doing, do it anyways, because who knows, you might just discover another.
There was a slight inkling for sure. Actually, it wasn't a slight inkling. It was a screeching voice that said, do it.
Oh, really? Like you had that?
Yeah.
This time. Okay.
And if you know me, you know I follow these voices a lot.
True. But was there any voice that said, no, man, it's too much. You don't have 21 days to spare?
No.
No?
Funnily not.
It was all...
So I guess, I believe in destiny a lot. So
Right.
It was definitely part of a grand plan, which I guess is unfolding as we speak.
True. Okay. So there was no reservation whatsoever?
No.
Okay, awesome.
Funnily and very astonishingly, no.
Okay. Would you like to tell us a bit more about what you do outside of poetry? You did say that you're a fashion designer.
Yes.
So how is that? How's that life? Or
That
how's
life-
that work?
That life is crazy and I miss it because it's been a while since I actually made a collection. The last one was, I think, quite a while ago. And I'm actually wearing this. I made this.
Oh, is that your own design?
Yeah,
The
trench coat, yes.
The trench coat? Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So
And it's got all geometric shapes on it. So
there's
that's-
too long a story behind this if you're willing to listen.
do you have the time?
I do.
All right, let's go.
So I had this idea to paint my room. So I was like, the only thing that came to me was to paint it silver. And during one of my meditations, I had this vision of painting 2 displaced semicircles.
Oh.
Nothing else. So I was like, okay, let me start with that. So I started with the center of my room. This is what it looks like. So I just continued building it. And it's like my whole room now, which is just geometric. So I filled up the spaces with yellow. So my room is yellow and silver.
Okay.
So I had to do a show in Paris. And I was looking for a theme and inspiration. Usually my collections are very art inspired. The first one was inspired by Yakshagana, the second one by Ganjifa arts, cards. So this one, I was like, okay, I need something art inspired. So I kept looking and nothing really fit. So I was like, okay, this is quite strange. And then randomly I had this revelation. I said, you're in your art. You're living in your art that you created.
Right.
So I was like, okay, maybe this is something I could try. So I clicked pictures of the walls and I made them into digital prints.
Oh, so these are pictures of your wall.
So these are prints of my wall. And
prints on your wall. And
since I love duality so much, it was about like what do you do before you're an artist and what do you do once you discover you're an artist. So it's like yin and yang. So it's just 2 colors that are opposite sides of the color wheel.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, so the yellow and the blue one.
So I have orange and purple, black and white, obviously.
Right. No, I like that concept. So the dual tones are like my favorite. I don't know if you can call that duality, but yes, I do find myself fancying this odd combinations of black with a red stripe on it or like a golden stripe on it. Yeah. Those kind of things really, grab my attention. In fact, that was my first bike. The reason I fell in love with that bike and I wanted to buy the bike was because it was black and it had like golden lettering on it. So I was like, oh, this was meant for me, kind of a thing.
Amazing.
So it's interesting when you talk about what you do as a profession, and then this story that you said in particular, it talks about the effort that goes into it, the kind of thinking and the brain work that goes into it, right? But oftentimes when we look at something from an outsider's perspective, like for example me looking at the whole fashion designer thing, in my head it was all like, oh, it's all glitz and glam and like the whole showboaty affair.
That's what everyone thinks.
And you get clicked and you get featured in some great magazines and you're maybe on some YouTube show and so help us reconcile that difference, right? Like, is it all about that? Because obviously to the outside world it does come across as all glit and glam, but is it all about that? Is there the darker side to it too, or
it's definitely 2 sides of the coin,
right?
Of course, like everything is black and white. There's a lot of gray.
Oh, a lot of gray, right?
Yeah, there is a lot of gray, but I guess you can pick what you want to take out of it. It's glamorous, yes. It's creative, yes. It's crazy, yes.
And does that also mean it's competitive?
Yes,
too,
yes, very much. Yeah. If you talk about seasons, there are no better description than when you have to make a season so quick. But it's a little exhausting. But I wouldn't say little exhausting. It's quite exhausting.
It's quite exhausting.
Yeah, it is. But oh my God, the creative expression and the freedom that you get or that you give yourself is something that, as a creative, there's no better field for you to do it.
So there
of course, any creative field. If you're an artist, it's great for you. If whatever arts you're in, man, my heart is with you. Okay. And it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot out of you, just in general. It takes too much for you to be. It's brave. It's vulnerable. It's honest. It's dark and deep and everything. All possible adjectives I can think of.
Okay. Well, then I guess it's a good thing that in the many shades of grey. We're here today talking about poetry and bringing color to the expression of art. That is.
Yeah.
Great. So thank you for sharing your view on the expression and what it means for you to express and to create, right? So on that note, I have a question. Might be a philosophical one, but it's also, I believe, a very personal one. Right?
Let's
So we're
dive
looking
deep.
for a vulnerable answer from you over here, right? What is your philosophy of poetry, right? And that is to say, like, what do you think about poetry, or how does poetry feel when you try to express it? In short, what does poetry mean for you?
Poetry means, to me specifically, weaving magic.
Mhm.
It's something that I strive to put in so much magic in something, and I guess the world needs it.
Right, right.
There's too much happening every day. There's too much happening in people's lives. There's a lot of stress that we go to, which is not even spoken about. And I guess someone believing in magic somewhere can make a difference to you. And
So you view of poetry as this hand around your shoulder,
yes,
kind of an experience.
wow, yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. And
Hey, you're not alone.
hey, you're not alone.
As
right?
as much as I try to make it like a fantasy, I'm with you.
Right, right. You know, it's interesting you mentioned that, because this is actually something that I resonated with too. And in my book, at the the back cover, this is something that I'd written over there. Right. To you, I want to say, don't worry, everything is going to be all right. And since I can't wrap my arms around you or give you a hug, I give you this book.
Okay, that's the reference.
Yeah. And
sweet. It's true.
It is, right? Yeah,
I mean,
I think, there are times when you come across a piece of poetic work, you read it, and instantly, like, bam, yes, this person is talking about exactly what I'm feeling, right? But
Yeah.
they've put it into words in a much more eloquent manner. So yes, thank you for sharing that, right? And so is this, do you find that this is generally your approach to creating poetry, that you talk about the matters of life, matters of the heart, matters of everyday affairs, and then like put it across in a way that, hey, you're not alone. I feel the same.
No, it's not generally what I go for.
Okay.
I feel like I write what, again, like I said, there's a voice in my head that keeps telling me things that, again, I feel like I'm just a medium. I cannot, it's like I can't take credit for my poetry because it comes from a place that I can't explain. I'm sure you know that, and I'm sure a lot of people tell you that. It's like you're just going through your day and you have one line drop in your, literally in your palms, and you're like, you have to build on this. And that's what happens to me every single time. I don't have anything preset. I don't have lines written already. I have random words that come to me in random places, mostly in my bathroom. I'm not even kidding. I think
Yes,
I think I've made it a place where I think too much. So as soon as I walk in there to wash my face or like, whatever, it's like, here you go. And I'm like, okay, that's crazy. So if I don't have a title for my poem and I just walk in and I'm like, okay, that's what happened with my previous one. I didn't have a poem for the bug in a rice farm. That was another line that came to me. I was like, what do I do with bug in a rice farm? And that's it. I get a line and I have to like figure out the rest.
Now you figure out the rest.
Another line was, so I was going up to my studio and there was a bee in my keyhole.
Like a bee.
Like an actual bee. So that's a line in my poem. So that's a line that I've included in the poem. So it just somehow fits. It's like a big jigsaw puzzle that's always like, you have to fit it. You have to make sense of it. And then I was in conversation with someone and I said, we were talking about snakes. I said something about snakes and my mind threw up snakes in a test tube. And I'm like, okay. So it's like I'm constantly, even mid-conversation, I'd probably be taking notes. You have to see the notes folder on my phone. It's just, you'll just keep scrolling forever.
Okay. So. I suppose that would be an interesting thing to look at.
Sure.
Or maybe not. But
it's just filled with poetry and hashtags.
I get
a lot of captions.
We all have that way of translating mental imagery, mental notes into something. And then what makes absolute sense to me is utter gibberish to someone else. Awesome. Okay. That's great. So I have a question for you. And quite a cheeky one, let's say. When was the last time that someone tried to impress you with poetry?
Never.
Really?
No one's ever done that.
What a shame. Have you tried to impress someone with poetry? No?
No.
Okay.
I wish I had the chance to, but no.
Oh, damn. Okay, let's hope that you find the
This
chance.
is the beginning of a lot of...
You find the chance to impress someone with poetry, or the chance arrives where someone impresses you with poetry, because
I'm waiting.
the world would be...
Waiting.
Yes. So am I. Like, when that happens, please let me know.
Yeah, sure.
I think we'll bring you in for another episode where we talk about that.
Done.
Right. So this was interesting. That was fun. Speaking of fun, are you ready for something fun?
Yes, always.
Rapid fire question.
Let's do this.
All right. Well, she's more ready than I am now. I feel intimidated having to ask questions. Usually, I like the look of anxiety and reservation on the.
Let's
the
do
face of my
this.
guest. But she's like, yeah, let's do this. And I'm like, whoa, okay. All right. So I'm going to give you options too. You have to choose from one.
What if I have a third?
No, it's my show, so you can't have. You're not allowed to have any options. It's my options.
What if I like both?
Yes. So
Can I say both?
No, you can't. So regardless of how appealing,
I have to answer.
You have to choose one. Like it's a whole point of a.
Can I bail?
No.
Okay,
let's. That would be an amazing option, right? Like bail. I choose to exercise my Fifth Amendment right. Silence. But no, you're not allowed to. So both may be extremely appealing, but you have to choose only one.
Okay,
and no
let's do
thinking.
this. No thinking.
No thinking. You have to like the first thing.
Okay.
Prefer driving or being in control of the music?
Driving.
Driving. Okay. Right. Automatic or manual?
Automatic. I can't drive a manual.
All right. Ice creams or salad?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Okay. Fight or flight?
Freeze.
No.
Fight.
Fight?
For sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, not fight as in physical fight, because I can't hurt a fly, but fight as in verbal. I can do that.
You put your point across.
Yeah.
There's no backing down.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes.
Okay. Have you ever been in a situation where you backed out and did not put up?
I haven't been in a situation where I'm in an altercation anyway, so.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you've never been in a fight of life.
Peace.
Peace-loving lady over here. All right. Love or luxury? No thinking, yeah?
Why can't I say both? This is not.
Exactly. Both are appealing. That's why you can't say both.
But love is luxury, so I'll say luxury.
No, we had another guest in the show who said the same thing.
So luxury is love, so I'll say love.
No.
See, that has to work.
Luxury is love?
Yeah.
Really?
Self-love.
Oh, okay. So
I
what are you going with, love or luxury?
You pick.
No, you have to pick.
Okay, I'll say love.
Love. Oh, so now it's love. Okay.
But it's, you know how I got here, so let's just say love.
Why are we even playing this? Okay. The chance to continue writing poetry or fame and money?
Can I tweak your answer?
No.
The chance to make art. Poetry is art.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Chance, no. Life to make art.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I really want to add a lot, but it's okay. Let's move on.
You can. I might edit it though.
I'll save the words.
Okay. All right. Last and final question. The love of your life or unlimited travel for life, but solo? No thinking.
It's the love of my life, because I think we can travel together. I don't think I picked anything, did I?
Well, you are not the person to play rapid fire with, I can give you that. But ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the poet herself. The love of your life is what a lot of people went with. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is my guest for the episode, Ms. Parinitha M. And Parinitha, thank you so much for having
Thank you for having
here,
me.
Right? And before we close, any last words for the audience, for the guests?
I think life is getting a little more serious every single day. Just find time to play. Whatever that is for you. That's it.
Fine time to play. All right. I think I'm going to use that as maybe the title to this episode.
Done.
Fine time to play. Okay. So I think you've probably listened to a lot of my episodes. You did your background check. Yeah. By the way, she did a background check, and she even told me like, "Hey, you know what? I like this. I like that, but I don't like this about your episode." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Like that's good." I mean, I guess giving me that kind of feedback. So, would you like to do the outro to this episode? It's all yours.
Thank you so much for watching, you guys. And please follow Nedin George. He has lovely poetry and he has an amazing podcast coming up with people like me. So keep watching.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I think that was...
Keep listening. Keep writing.
Keep doing whatever it is that you
Yeah.
keep playing. So, yes, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. We will be back again next week with another guest, another poet, and a lot more stories. So until then, take care, and like Parinitha said, keep playing. Ciao.